Now, there's been tremendous speculation about this show and me. I'm sorry that this is about me, but it is. This station won't or can't tell us if this show will be on next year, either in this format or in some other format. And they can't tell me if I'll be part of the show next year if it's on, or if I'll be part of a different show if it's on. So, on the off chance, listen to those words, on the off chance that this show is not on next year, this is the opportune time to say what I'm about to say, because it's no good doing it next week when the grand final show's on, because that's about revelry and merriment and gaiety and laughing. But this could well be the last in-house footy show that we do after 25 years. I've been part of it for 25 years. It started being given a 6-week trial period, then it was given another 6-week trial period, and then another, and the rest, as they say, is history, until we're here, possibly, on the last footy show of its life. We've had about, someone did the maths, about 200 million people watch this show over 25 years. We've had maybe 500 to 750,000 live studio audience, either here now or in the other studio in Richmond, or at the Rod Laver Arena for the grand final shows, or all around the country in the other shows we've done. We have given a start to many footballers who have stopped playing and have taken up a vocation in the media. They've had a great grounding here on this show, and they've gone on to be on other shows, and they've been fantastic. We've had great sponsors over the 25 years. Many of them have wondered why they've got involved with someone like me on a show, because I've probably been deleterious to their product over the years, but they've stuck with us. And until we have, as we speak now, KFC, Holden, Colorado, Sportsbet, Tradie. We appreciate everyone that's been part of this show. I've worked with great people. Eddie Maguire, my friend, and Trevor Marmalade started this show, the three of us. Instigated by Ian Johnson, the manager of Channel 9 in those days, who is not well as we speak, so we wish him the best, all of us. Then Gary Lyon and James Brayshaw took over, great friends of mine. Then James Brayshaw and Rebecca Madden took over. Think about Rebecca Madden. She was 15 when this show started, and would she have ever thought when she was watching a numbskull like me 25 years ago, thinking that she'd actually be part of the hosting team on this show? It's a fantastic story. Then we had Craig Hutchison joined the show. We've had Dave Hughes be on it for a year. We've had the semi-regulars on this show almost since it started in Bill Brownless and Shane Crawford. We've spoken to hundreds of people out on the streets for 25 years, 24 years. Not one of them's ever, to my knowledge, ever complained about what we spoke to them about and them being on the show. But of course, there was a few agenda seekers that thought that we shouldn't go out and speak to people on the streets. So of course, in this day and age, we stopped doing it. About this station, Channel 9. I've only ever worked for 2 organisations in my life. One of them was Channel 7. I was on the World of Sport there for 5 or 6 years. And I've been about 35 years on this station. I'm all loyal. And if you think I'm touting for a job, you're incorrect. I've never done that. I don't suck to anyone, as you probably realise. This station has been about as loyal an employer as you could get. They've stood behind me when I've been suspended. Well, they've actually suspended me themselves. They've stood behind me when I've transgressed the Broadcasting Tribunal laws. They've stood behind me when I've said the inappropriate things, which is what happens in live television. This is, I'm told, this will probably be disputed, but this is the longest running television show in Australian television history that goes live to air of its type. Not one part of this is taped, except for the tape bits that you see there except when we go out and speak to people. We've spoken in the show tonight. We'll show you an absolute, probably the greatest legend that's ever been part of the AFL, VFL scene. We spoke to him exclusively, and that'll be coming up later in the show. I don't think you realise how hard it is to do live television without transgressing every now and again, because we're not on delay, and I've said some pretty inappropriate things, and I've had to apologise for them. But this station has been as loyal and committed to me as you could ever find. So, I will not be continuing. I am, it's appropriate that it's opportune that I end my association with this show and the network on the off chance that this is the final show that we do. Next week we look forward to a great grand final show. And the only thing I could say is I've probably been the most criticised and traduced person in the media in Australia for probably 2 decades. I wouldn't have it any other way, because you are what you are. I know who I am. I know what I am. I take it with a grain of salt. People have a right to say whatever they like about me or this show or people on it. But always remember this about critics. Critics are like eunuchs in a harem. They're there every night. They see it done every night. They see how it should be done, but they can't do it themselves. So, as I say to you, I really appreciate the fact that you've taken the time to tune in, sometimes in big numbers, sometimes in lesser numbers. You've got to experience the lows in life to appreciate the highs. I am one of those people. And so, this is probably it for me as an in-house footy show contributor, and next week it'll probably be it for me as a grand final footy show participant as well. I want to thank you very much for putting up with me or enjoying me. I probably marginalise most people. Probably that's a bonus, probably it's not. So, with that, we have 2 great games coming up on the weekend. Far more important things than what I'm saying, but I didn't want this opportunity to go without saying to you people, we never take you for granted, telling you exactly what's going on, what we think is going on, what I think is going on. None of my comments are attributed to anyone else who's about to come on. This is just me speaking, so they're not linked by guilt by association. This is just me speaking. We've got 2 great games coming up. We've got a great grand final show coming up a week from today. So as they say, and maybe I say it for the last time, let's on with the show.